In our lineup today, here on The Now, the fight to keep helping 9/11 survivors isn't over. The latest on the September 11th compensation fund as we remember another life lost today. Cars are getting fancier with new technology, but they may not necessarily be helping us drive safer. In fact, there's new evidence that shows that we may be at a higher risk of crashing. Now safety advocates are calling for changes. And the price of prescription drugs just keeps going up. Sometimes those expensive meds just end up in the trash when they hit their expiration date. We're taking a look at the new efforts to stop medication from being wasted.
Chris, thank you. I'm Mark Mullins, and this is the Now Indy on RTV6. Near record heat in Indianapolis today, and as you can see, temperatures here still in the 90s with a lot of humidity, so conditions can still be dangerous. Let's give you a live look at the American Legion Mall downtown. Thousands of people are gathering for the Indiana Black Expo's Outdoor Music Heritage Concert this evening. You definitely want to bring lots of water so you can stay hydrated and find shade if you need it. It is a Storm Team 6 alert day, so we need to begin with Chief Meteorologist Kevin Gregory.
And the heat continues for the next 24 hours, then we'll begin to see a change. You can tell right now, everybody seems to be in the shade because there's at least one big cloud that's helping the situation, at least for now. We'll be dry this evening. That's the key in the short term. Let's talk about our temperature trend here over the next 72 hours because it will be sliding backwards by Monday. 91 in Indy, 3 degrees warmer up in Howard County, and Bloomington at 88. We've all got the southwest wind. Temperatures just as warm tomorrow. It's Sunday where we'll back off a little bit. So we got another 24 hours here where that heat and humidity combination really kind of keeps us a little sluggish as far as wanting to get outside. That's for sure. 104 in Muncie and Peru for a heat index, otherwise right at the triple-digit mark for Indy. Between now and 11 o'clock, we don't cool off much. We're still above 90 at 7 o'clock. By 11, the sky clears out, 84 degrees. We'll go through the 4-day forecast coming up. Show you the big change on the way.
And as Kevin said, the extreme heat is sticking around through the weekend. You'll want to go to the RTV6 app or the IndyChannel.com to get real-time updates on the forecast. Plus, we have a list of cooling centers around central Indiana. Again, that's on the RTV6 app and the IndyChannel.com. Hiring Hoosiers is an RTV6 initiative to highlight job opportunities for everyone in our community. Well, heading to Columbus, our Erin Lish shows us there's a restaurant that's providing on-the-job training and building confidence for people with special needs.
Here at Special Dogs and More, they have cheddar cheese dogs, bacon cheeseburgers, loaded ribbon fries, all great items. But what's even better than that are the employees.
I'm the dining room attendant.
Special Dogs and More, Jason Harris makes sure everything is in order.
You have to fill the napkin holders, clean the tables.
This is a pretty unique team, which is one of Lauren Crippen's favorite parts.
I would probably say working with the people because we work as a team.
The owners of the restaurant hire people with mental and intellectual disabilities.
It's not just a job where they're just learning something here. They can take these skills home with them.
A study commissioned by the Special Olympics indicates the unemployment rate for adults with ID is more than twice as high as those without disabilities.
This is something new for Parker. This is the first day he's done this.
They use visuals like counting the corn nuggets or steps to make the perfect dog. This helps with their memory so they can do the job efficiently.
Chili sauce, the cheddar cheese, and the onions. And that I haven't memorized. Like, I could make me a chili cheese dog right now if I wanted to.
With less than 1 out of every 2 working age adults with ID in the labor force, Lauren is thankful for this job.
That's really nice. It's a privilege.
They're always accepting new employees so more people can develop skills needed in the workforce.
It makes you happy to know that you're part of helping these young men and women be successful.
And letting them do what they love.
It's fun because I sometimes even run into people I know in the community.
Changing lives of employees and customers one hot dog at a time. In Columbus, Erin Lish, RTV6.
And great to see. This weekend, Special Dogs and More is holding a big event called Never Say Never. It's happening at the courthouse lawn in Columbus starting at noon. They'll have food, music, and fun. The fundraiser will help pay for prom for those living with disabilities.
Let's start your Friday news feed with the Trump administration considering a delay of a rule that would have a huge impact on abortions in this country. The rule would stop family planning clinics who receive federal money from performing abortions. The administration said Monday it would immediately start enforcing the rule, but now it may give clinics more time to prepare. Iran calling President Trump a liar. Country says it can disprove the president's claim that a U.S. warship took down an Iranian drone. The Iranians say they didn't lose any of their drones, and the country's foreign minister even tweeted that the U.S. may have shot down one of its own. Iran, you remember, shooting down a U.S. drone last month in the same part of the Persian Gulf. Scary moments in Athens today. An earthquake near the Greek capital sent people running into the streets. News agencies are reporting the quake knocked out cell phone connections with an epicenter that was about 15 miles northwest of the city. Temperatures climbing fast today as a heat wave continues to grip much of the country. Large cities that normally don't get this hot are now pushing 100 degrees. Now you factor in the humidity, feels even worse, making it harder for the body to cool down. Now the heat's already turning deadly. A former New York Giant football player died last night of heat stroke in Arkansas. Mitch Petrus was just 32 years old. He had worked outside all day before he ended up in the hospital. Now the heat is expected to impact the East the most. In New York, an excessive heat warning has state-run beaches and pools staying open longer all weekend. Office buildings are ordered to raise temperatures to conserve energy. Now remember, Manhattan did have that blackout last weekend. The New York City Triathlon was canceled for the first time in the race's history. Now, actually, just check out this post right here that was made on the race's Facebook page today. A stock picture of runners, a little different clothing than reality right now. Long sleeves and head warmers saying that race day is coming up. This post was actually taken down. Now, also in New York, the Saratoga horse races for the weekend were called off. Now, the horses are still running today, but organizers are taking extra measures to keep these animals cool. D.C. supposed to be as hot as Death Valley, California over the weekend. A forecast high of 100 tomorrow, and the low temperature will be the highest it's ever been at 82. Repairs are being rushed on cooling systems at several metro stations that were supposed to be finished in May. All right, let's get back to our lineup here. The fight to keep helping 9/11 survivors isn't over. The latest on the September 11th compensation fund as we remember another life lost today.
Chevy Cadillac.
The only name you need to know.
Welcome back to the Now Indy on RTV6. Tonight, a renewed plea for help in solving a 13-year-old hit and run. It left an off-duty Carmel High School police officer dead. On July 20th, 2006, police say a car and a motorcycle were involved in the crash at 96th Street and Meridian Street. 42-year-old Ronald Obsinick Jr. was killed. He was driving the motorcycle. Investigators say after the wreck, the car drove away northbound on Meridian Street. Witnesses described the car as a small black two-door sports car with a rear spoiler. If you know who crashed into Ronald Obsinick Jr.'s motorcycle on July 20th, 2006, or have any information at all, call Crime Stoppers at 317-262-TIPS. You can remain anonymous.
200 firefighters have now died as a result of getting sick in the aftermath of the September 11th attack. That is according to the New York Fire Department. Just this week, 2 firefighters died, and this comes as Congress continues to fight to pass a bill to help those first responders who have gotten sick. Corey Rangel with more on when Congress thinks it will pass legislation.
Nearly 18 years after the September 11th attacks, the death toll continues to go up from the aftermath of the terror attacks. This week, Richard Driscoll died one day after the death of fellow firefighter Kevin Nolan. Both men rushed to Ground Zero and died from 9/11 related illnesses after breathing in the toxic air on that day and the weeks following.
Every day someone dies.
Despite the growing number of deaths, members of Congress have been fighting over the 9/11 Victim Compensation Fund, which provides support to first responders who have gotten sick after the attacks.
I will object.
Senators Rand Paul and Mike Lee have concerns about the bill's cost and wanted to find ways to offset it. The 2 senators blocked a vote to quickly approve a bill to extend funding for the 9/11 fund until the year 2090.
That's not even about politics anymore. We're talking about being a good human being.
John Field, a 9/11 first responder, blasted both senators for stopping the vote, which already passed in the House.
We're dying, and Congress and the Senate are playing games. They're using us as a political football right now, and that's unacceptable.
Next week, the Senate will vote on the bill, which is expected to pass and will then be sent to President Trump for his approval. In Washington, D.C., I'm Corey Rangel reporting.
All right, Corey, thank you. Let's get back to our lineup here. And expensive prescriptions trashed after they hit their expiration date. A look at the new efforts to end wasted medication.
Dealer stock. Come in for great deals now.
Let's start the news feed. President Trump has his pick to replace Alex Acosta as Labor Secretary. He'll nominate Gene Scalia, the son of late Supreme Court Justice Antonin Scalia. Acosta stepped down last week because of outrage over a plea deal he gave accused child molester Jeffrey Epstein back in 2008. Rhode Island police making an arrest in a 1988 murder of a 10-year-old girl. Pawtucket police say DNA testing led to the arrest. Christine Cole went missing more than 3 decades ago after her mom sent her to the store to get food for dinner. Just an incredible video coming in here. An escape from a fire in Philadelphia. This is video of a real-life Spider-Man. A man climbing down a 19-story building to escape. He made it down safely, and no one else was injured in this fire. Well, many have trouble affording medication, but several states are coming up with a solution. Instead of throwing out unused medication, they're reusing it safely. An investigative reporter, Jace Larson, showing us how it works.
It's life-saving medicine, and you paid for it with Medicaid tax dollars. But we found that it's being thrown away day after day after day.
It's being shredded and destroyed. This medication has already been paid for by Medicare.
Once it gets close to expiring, it's taken off the shelves and dumped into giant furnaces. And we're talking millions and millions of pounds of medication each year.
Life-saving medications.
Former pharmacist Steve Hazlett says he's witnessed a massive oversupply of drugs.
Most of them are your expensive, your medications for asthma, diabetes, blood pressure, hypertension, cholesterol medications that people need on an everyday basis to survive.
Fausto Lanfer knows what it's like to not be able to easily pay.
The insurance I have right now, I need cover 5,000 deductible for start using my insurance.
There is a solution on the horizon, though. Dozens of states have passed laws allowing for drug donation programs. Prescription drugs can be donated to low-cost or free clinics. But experts say there's still a whole lot more that needs to be done to help people. The largest company that runs donation programs in the country, Serum, says only some states allow the medication to be donated. And in places like Missouri, Indiana, Michigan, and Florida, you can't even get those meds if they've been donated.
None of them are expired. Of course, none of them are tampered with. All the seals are intact. And they have to meet all of the refrigeration requirements or any of the other requirements, just like any other medication that would come into a pharmacy.
Jeff Martin is the executive director of Open Bible. That's a group that helps move the donated medication.
A lot of these medications were purchased with taxpayer dollars and then were destroyed, and now they're being used to help community members, neighbors throughout our state. And so I think that's a great benefit.
He wants to see more of the drugs being donated and given to those that can't afford them. And he's concerned that drug makers, those are the same ones making multi-billion dollars in profits, have little incentive to push these programs. But in states like Colorado, lawmakers have aimed to protect the programs and those who donate, shielding them from liability in hopes that it will make more people want to donate. I'm Jace Larson reporting.
Jace, thank you. And if you want to learn more about the specific programs offered in your community, Serum is an organization that puts information and signups on its website. Just visit serum.com, which is SIRUM.com. A preliminary report is shedding light on some positive news regarding the opioid epidemic. The CDC says the number of deadly overdoses due to prescription meds fell more than 5% from 2017 to 2018. That would be the first decline since the 90s if those numbers are confirmed. While overdoses tied to prescription drugs are down, overdoses tied to drugs like fentanyl are up.
Chris, thank you. An unforgettable experience in Florida today for a little girl from the Indianapolis area. 8-year-old Lily Cooley was one of 4 kids to get to spend the day with dolphins. The Clearwater Marine Aquarium in Florida selected 4 extraordinary kids to have a special day. Lily Cooley suffers from juvenile arthritis. She's been a patient ambassador for Peyton Manning Children's Hospital at St. Vincent. So Lily was able to meet dolphins Winter and Hope from the Dolphin Tale movies and spend a lot of time with them.
It was really exciting because I didn't think I'd be able to play with the dolphins.
Oh. That was a special surprise?
Yeah.
What was it like being so close to them and getting to reach out and touch the dolphins?
It was really surprising for me, and I was just really excited.
Lily also got to meet the human co-stars of the Dolphin Tale movies. What a wonderful day for a girl who has brought so much inspiration to others. That is great to see there.
How about that? She won't forget that experience. Well, we won't put the heat behind us here for a while. Another game at Victory Field, and it's a third base line and behind home plate that gets the first shade. Fireworks after the game tonight. They start a little bit earlier to get the fireworks going. Weekend heat and humidity, yes, especially tomorrow. We'll back off a little bit Sunday depending on the timing of thunderstorms that roll in. Those thunderstorms will begin the transition to a much different feel as we get back to work early next week. It's all about the 90s now, with one exception, Bloomington at 88. It's a little nicer down at Lake Monroe. 94 in Muncie. Temperatures otherwise lower 90s and slow to change. The sun doesn't set until 9:10. These are your overnight temperatures. By the way, early next week, Tuesday, Wednesday morning, we have a shot at dropping into the 50s. That's quite a change from 76. You may actually have your windows open at some point during the evening hours next week. Temperatures in the morning already quickly pushing 80 degrees. By noon, there's 90. Afternoon temperature of 94 to about 96, I think, in the warmest spots. And the wind, again, will be noticeable out of the southwest. Nice breeze, but I think we'll hold off on any thunderstorm potential till probably Saturday night late, and then on Sunday. You see the thunderstorm chances will increase Sunday afternoon into Sunday night. We'll unveil that 4-day forecast for you coming up.
A major book publisher that sells to universities and colleges has announced a cost-cutting measure: digital textbooks. Now, Pearson's not the first to do this. Other companies like McGraw-Hill and HMH have also been investing in ebooks, but the U.S. Public Interest Research Group says prices still may not go down. The reality is the price of textbooks has just been skyrocketing in the past few years, even passing up the cost of inflation. Part of the problem is the people who are using the textbooks aren't the ones who are choosing them. It's the teachers and the professors.
It allows for the marketplace to have textbook publishers come in and charge more than a well-running marketplace would probably handle.
Big textbook publishers have become more competitive as secondhand bookstores have opened. Now, even though they have ebooks, they'll often attach an access code that expires, which means the student who's using it can't use it past the allotted time or resell it. Instead, experts suggest that schools start writing their own books.
It's really important that we continue to foster open textbooks, because that's really the thing that can cut the cost down, ensure that we have really high quality content for these classes, and that professors are getting what they want.
All college campuses have at least one class that uses an open textbook, and while students wait for more campuses to catch up with the open textbook trend, well, they should still be looking for deals before buying just that really high-priced textbook that you need to get in college sometimes. Well, taking another look at our news feed here, some people think that Chick-fil-A is awesome. Other people see it as really controversial. Texas is putting a law in the books to prevent governments from blocking a business because of religious beliefs. People have been critical of the fast food chain's stance on same-sex marriage. The Corvette, it's an American classic. The 2020 version, gonna have some big changes. The new car will have the engine behind the seats. Now, traditionally, the Corvette's engine has been in front. This will change how it looks and how it feels to drive. New research says that a song can have the same calming effect as a drug. University of Pennsylvania researchers tested a song that was written to reduce anxiety, blood pressure, and heart rate. Well, they found that those who listened to the song calmed down just as much as people who were given a drug. Now, you've likely heard a lot about a Facebook event that has more than 1 million people right now, and it is signed up to storm Area 51 in September. Let us introduce you to the California man who is behind that idea. His name, Matty Roberts. He lives in Bakersfield. He says that first he made this page as a joke back in June, but obviously it has now become so much more than that.
So it's like the perfect storm of hardcore conspiracy theorists and then just people that like jokes on Facebook.
Roberts has stayed quiet until now because he was concerned the FBI might come after him now that this event has become so massive. But the event is already generating buzz for businesses that are surrounding Area 51, the Air Force testing site. It's in a very remote part of Nevada. Now, Cosmic K, actually his name, owns a store full of information about aliens. Now, he's about 170 miles away from Area 51, but he is expecting to see a spike in business. Now, along with selling all the merch that people need to go and take part in this, if it actually happens, Kay is also providing roadmaps for the trip along the way with all the stops that people need to check out. All right, next on our lineup here, how driver assist technology may encourage more risky behavior on the roads. Now, safety advocates are calling for changes in more cars.